countless explorers, adventurers, and survivors have reported feeling an external presence or guiding force beside them. It has become known as third man syndrome. Many academics have studied this phenomenon to try and understand if this is a psychological trick of the mind or something beyond our understanding. One of the earliest recorded occurrences of third man syndrome was in Antarctica on Sir Ernest Shackleton's legendary expedition. In 1914, their ship Endurance became trapped in the ice and eventually sank. Realizing that rescue was unlikely to come, Shackleton took a few of his men and attempted to sail one of the lifeboats for 16 days, over 800 miles across the most dangerous seas on the planet to reach South Georgia Island. Miraculously, they landed on the southern coast of the island, and in their final grueling 36-hour trek over glaciers, peaks, and crevices to reach a whaling station, something extraordinary occurred. Shackleton described that they felt an uncanny presence accompanying them. In his memoirs, he wrote, "During that long and racking march of 36 hours over the unmanned mountains and glaciers of South Georgia, it seemed to me often that we were 4, not 3. This fourth presence provided them with guidance and a sense of determination. It was as if the unseen guide was leading them through the treacherous terrain, helping them make crucial decisions at critical moments. Against all odds, they reached the whaling station on the north part of the island and were able to summon help. Astonishingly, all 27 men of the Endurance expedition were eventually rescued and survived." The mysterious event became so legendary that the phrase third man was first used in T.S. Eliot's 1922 poem The Wasteland, which was inspired by Shackleton's account. Eliot wrote, "Who is the third who walks always beside you? When I count, there are only you and I together." Since then, there have been endless reports of similar events. Charles Lindbergh reported perceiving vaguely outlined forms in the cockpit of his plane on his first solo transatlantic flight in 1927. These entities spoke to him and provided technical advice, effectively acting as co-pilots when he needed them most. In the events of September 11th, several survivors escaping the collapsing World Trade Center towers reported being guided by an unseen presence. One woman recounted being led down darkened stairwells by a figure who urged her to keep moving, ultimately saving her life. From legendary explorers to the mountaineers of today, many share a common thread. In moments of extreme danger or stress, they perceive an external presence that offers guidance, comfort, and encouragement. So, is there a common psychological process at play here, or are these encounters evidence of something beyond that? There are 3 prevailing theories. In academic terms, the phenomenon is referred to as a sensed presence experience during a life-threatening situation. Psychologist Julian Jaynes has proposed his bicameral mind theory. He suggests that ancient humans were different from us and had a bicameral mind, where one hemisphere of the brain communicated with the other in the form of auditory hallucinations, which they would have perceived as commands coming from an external source. And in times of extreme stress, modern human brains might temporarily revert to this archaic state, resulting in the sensation of an external guide. Think of it like an old operating system running in the background of a modern computer. Under normal circumstances, it's dormant. But when the system is under extreme load or stress, this old program kicks in to handle emergency tasks, and we perceive it as an external person providing instructions. The second theory, put forward by Dr. Peter Sudfeld, is that the sensed presence is a psychological coping mechanism that serves as a form of self-preservation. His extensive research conducted on sensory deprivation and isolation indicates that the mind utilizes various strategies to maintain psychological equilibrium when faced with overwhelming stressors. The brain may create vivid internal experiences, including the sensation of an accompanying presence, in order to balance the psychological state to aid the individual in overcoming the situation. By projecting strength onto an external figure, individuals may bolster their own courage and determination. This mechanism is similar to a child creating an imaginary friend during times of stress or trauma. Just as children conjure companions to navigate emotional challenges, adults in extreme situations may unconsciously generate a supportive figure. The key difference is that the adult's imaginary companion provides practical guidance instead of comfort. The third theory is that the syndrome could be explained by our neurology. Dr. Oliver Sacks's research suggests that in severe cases where there is a lack of sensory input, such as the monotony of a polar landscape or the darkness of a deep-sea quest, the brain can sometimes create its own stimuli. This is known as Charles Bonnet syndrome, where visually impaired individuals experience complex visual hallucinations. This neurological phenomenon is backed up by Dr. Michael Persinger's experiments with what he called the God helmet, a device that uses electromagnetic fields to stimulate the brain's temporal lobes. Many participants reported sensing a presence or feeling a spiritual entity nearby. Persinger's work suggests that such experiences can be artificially induced, pointing to their neurological origins. While these theories may explain third man syndrome, there are, of course, many who point to it being a spiritual or transcendental experience. For them, this presence is seen as a guardian angel, a deceased loved one, or a higher power intervening in a moment of need. In many indigenous cultures, the concept of spirit guides or protective entities is a fundamental part of their worldview. For many, these experiences reinforce beliefs in a connectedness beyond the physical realm. It provides a framework for interpreting the sensed experience as a connection to the spiritual realm rather than a psychological anomaly.